Okay, welcome to season 1, episode 3. Got to come up with a name for these things for Hoystory on air. Matt Hoy here. We got some stuff to go over today. It's stupid. There's always stupid stuff. That's all we can do here. Big brouhaha over Trump renovations to the East Wing. The East Wing is an office area. It's apparently, I haven't been in there, but from what people have said online and on air, on TV stations, specifically, I'm thinking Dana Perino, who used to be White House press secretary. It's an office building type thing that was built during World War II to hide the fact that that FDR was building a bunker underneath that part of the White House grounds. So, do we care? National Review's got an editorial up. No, Trump isn't destroying the White House. Gavin Newsom's complaining. Who cares? Hillary Clinton is complaining. Yes, Hillary Clinton, whose husband did more to sully the impression we have of the White House than any other president, excepting maybe Woodrow Wilson, and that's just because Woodrow Wilson was a horrible president, a horrible person. Hillary Clinton, it's not his house. It's your house, and he's destroying it. Hillary, you and your husband sold the Lincoln bedroom to donors. He's building a permanent ballroom so that they use that instead of like putting up tents. And that's certainly more secure than tents on the grounds, and somebody could, in theory, drive by or whatnot, shoot into a tent. I don't know why we care about that. And then we get to the stupid. Here's the stupid. So, the Bulwark's Jonathan Last. The Bulwark, just for the record, is a new media whatever site made up of former barely Republicans. I mean, these are the kinds of people you think when you think Rhino. These are the type of people you think, and Democrats. Okay, so Jonathan Last has decided, and I used to like him when he wrote for the Weekly Standard. A lot of the Weekly Standard people have turned out to have been hacks and frauds. A lot of them. I'm thinking of Bill Kristol here too. So Jonathan V. Last says that raising the Trump ballroom and restoring the White House to pre-Trump status is non-negotiable. It's not going to happen. As Noah Rothman put, it's a lunatic notion. It's lunacy. Okay. Next Democratic president, blah, blah, blah. It's going to stand. The next Democratic president, whoever he is, whether that's in 3 years or 8 or 7 years or 11 years or whenever, and we will get another Democratic president. That's the way the world works. They're going to use it. I can't believe we're even having this argument. I can't believe that this is a thing. Oh, I'm going to destroy it. The editorial over at National Review, and these links will be down in the description below when I'm done with this, notes that we've been making changes to it for years. South Portico was added in 1824. Balcony in 1948 for Harry Truman. North Portico in 1830. The West Wing was constructed in 1902 during Roosevelt's administration. It's silly. It's silly. But we're going to keep on doing this. I worked in newspapers. I know how the media works. We shouldn't be surprised at how the majority of the media is selling this. Over on YouTube, someone posted some video from 2010 because Obama did some renovations on the White House in 2010. Was there outrage? No, there wasn't outrage.
Sounds like they're building another wing to the White House, but we appreciate you keeping your focus.
You can't even imagine, TJ. It's going to happen for the next 2 years. All of the banging, the jackhammering, the dust, the confusion, the noise of all places to do construction is happening right here, the front lawn of the White House.
It's a 4-year renovation project. Estimated cost, $376 million.
Compare and contrast. Seriously. It was bad enough with Obama as it is, as far as him selling this stuff. The media was absolutely adoring Obama, still do, and they hate Trump, and you can tell from the coverage because this is stupid. Let's move on. I love this. This was predictable. So we've got a huge gambling scandal in the NBA and who knows where else. They have arrested mobsters. They have arrested Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups, who's also a former player. When you legalize sports betting, shouldn't be surprised, especially when you've got all these prop bets. And this is where the studios, or no, I say studios, this is where the casinos, the gambling, the sports betting companies make their money is on the prop bets. It's not, who will win and who will lose. It is so-and-so player is going to score less than, fewer than 10 points, or they're going to get a triple-double, or something like that. Those are where they make their money. You can choose as many of those kind of individual player performances that you want when you bet, and the more you add to it, the greater the payoff if you win. But odds are you don't win. And in this case, they had, one of the players who's accused, I'm not sure if it was Rozier or not, one of the players accused of kind of setting up these bets or allowing gamblers to profit off these bets, said, I'm going to fake a head injury in the first quarter. And they place a prop bet on the under of he's going to underperform his average of, assists and points and rebounds. And, I've got a head injury, he's out of the game. Well, those numbers are going to come in low, and they clean up. It's shouldn't be surprised. They also have poker games. This one I found really interesting. The poker games, they have a shuffle. The technology behind this is jaw-dropping. They used a shuffling machine to count the cards to predict who had the best hand. The information was transmitted to someone sitting at the table who used signals to communicate it with others in on the scheme. They used decoy cell phones and marked cards that could only be seen with special glasses. That sounds like a movie, really. I mean, that's pretty darn impressive. So it involved brawl. The scheme went beyond just fixing poker games, involved violence. What do you expect? You introduce, it was bad enough when you had gambling legal only in two places, Atlantic City, New Jersey, and Las Vegas. That kind of limited who could get suckered and the wider extent of this. Now, you got ESPN Bet, you've got all these, other sorts of betting parlors, basically, that are online. And people get addicted to this stuff. People, lose their shirts. last time I live in California, we cannot do online gambling. They ran a proposition to make it legal an election or two ago. It lost. One of the few smart things that California voters have generally done. Last time I gambled was a bunch of years ago when I was in Las Vegas for a Mountain West Conference basketball tournament to see who would go to March Madness. And my alma mater, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, was in the Big West tournament, and I bet on Cal Poly's games. I bet on them to at least cover the spread. I didn't bet on them always to win, but they ended up losing in the conference final. But it was close enough that that was actually a push, so I got my money back. But I won $40, I think, over a series of three bets, $40, because I'm poor and I'm cheap. But this is what you're going to get. They're going to have to watch this a heck of a lot more closely. This guy on Twitter does a good job of kind of summarizing this. Current and former NBA players and coaches Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, and Damon Jones have been arrested. Spanned years across 11 states, 30 arrested, including 13 mafia members. It involves La Cosa Nostra. They're going to make a movie about this. There's going to be a movie about this in a year or two. It's just, maybe a little longer than that, just because you kind of want the legal thing to the legal process to finish up and pan out. It's absolutely amazing. The FBI says that former Raptors player John Tay Porter was threatened to participate in the sports gambling scheme because of his gambling debts. It sounds like any sort of mob movie. This is not surprising. It's again, I'm going to link to these things. You're welcome to read them. It's just, we should not be shocked by this. This is the inevitable result of that. The widespread sports gambling thing. Not the first time it's happened in the NBA either. Moving on to the government shutdown. I haven't talked or even written or even thought much about it, mainly because it doesn't affect me. That's probably the best thing that can be said about it. It's like if you miss it, if you miss the government, doing all sorts of things or things that they think it should be doing, the stuff that's considered essential workers are still doing their job. Which makes you think that maybe all the other stuff that's non-essential, maybe the government shouldn't be doing that. Government's too big, which we'll show when we get to my last topic here. The Democrats, for the first time, and they are not getting hit as hard on this nearly as badly as the times when the Republicans were shutting down the government. And let's make it clear, the Democrats are behind the shutdown. Every previous time the government's been shut down, and the Democrats were basically in control, at least of the presidency or the House of Congress or whatnot. When it shut down, it was because they couldn't get enough Republicans, either in the House, but probably mostly in the Senate, to come along with what's called a clean CR. That's a continuing resolution, which just basically says we're going to continue government spending at the current level. If we cut a check, for $800 last month for rent for some building, then we cut that same amount of check for next month. It's just a straight line, continuing on spending or overspending what we're doing now. The Democrats have balked because of Obamacare. the Democrats passed subsidies during COVID for Obamacare, so more people would be covered. Understandable, I guess. You know, I think the whole pandemic had us doing a lot of things that we normally wouldn't do, and most of them were reasonable. But Democrats on party line vote passed these Obamacare subsidies, and then they repassed them in COVID, I think, to end in 2025. They're set to lapse. They did all of this without a single Republican vote. They passed Obamacare without a single Republican vote. They passed these subsidies without a single Republican vote, and now they want the Republicans to extend this even further. And we say Obamacare a lot. It's actually called the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. It is not affordable. The cost has gone up by leaps and bounds every year since Obamacare passed. I've got a whole part of my book where shortly after Obamacare got in, was up and running, a Republican said, Obama promised us our our insurance payments would go down by $2,500. Instead, they've gone up by $2,500. And fact checkers, being journalists, and particularly ones at PolitiFact, who almost had a crusade to keep to help pass the Affordable Care Act, and lied about it to no end. Did a fact check and basically, didn't give the Republican a true because he couldn't foresee that these things would happen, that these costs would go up. So that's what their job was, to foresee it. Oh, this happened. Obamacare has been an absolute disaster. So this I just love. I love it. I love it in all the ways you can love something. ACA enhanced subsidy lapse could hit early retirees hardest amid shutdown fight. Early retirees. Let me count the ways I don't care. If you're able to retire in your 50s, and I would love to be able to retire, I can't. I'd love to be able to retire. I got a friend from high school who was a vice president at Pfizer. He retired several years ago. We graduated the same year. He retired late 40s. He can afford it. He made good money. He worked his butt off for 20 some odd years. And, he and his wife, they don't have any kids. They can live comfortably, not extravagantly. They can live comfortably. So you're going to have to forgive me if I don't care about Bill and Shelley Gall, who say they'll be rich if it weren't for their medical bills. Blow this up a little bit more. Blow up. There we go. Hi guys, I don't care. They have spent upwards of $20,000 on healthcare expensive. Based on figures available through Idaho's online insurance marketplace, Bill 61 and Shelley 60 expect to pay almost $1,700 in monthly health insurance premiums in 2026 if the enhanced premium tax credits expire at the end of this year as scheduled. That sum, a nearly 300% increase from their current $442 premium, would add $15,000 a year to their medical costs. Deal with it. Seriously. I mean, let's see if I find here. Bigger financial hit. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? They are perhaps the most vulnerable population. Oh, wah. Seriously. It used to be Democrats were the party of the working class. These people aren't working class. They are not. They're not working class. These people are the wealthy. I don't know if they have kids. Maybe they're dinks. Dual income, no kids. DINKs. But seriously, who cares? People like us, we need insurance, said Bill, a civil engineer who retired in 2022. So he retired at 58. The way I'm retiring at 58 is if I win the lottery. It required me to buy lottery tickets, so odds are really low. But the CNBC article has been highlighted and made a big deal of because Amy Klobuchar, who's the senator from Minnesota, Minnesota in the news again, pointed this out as, oh, this is tragic and whatnot. Look, Medicaid kicks in at 65 or 67 or, 67 and a half. I don't know. I'm not sure how much it's going to be there. Same thing with Social Security. I'm skeptical that I am going to get the full amount of Social Security I'm in theory owed, because despite the protestations, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a legal Ponzi scheme because the government runs it, but it's a Ponzi scheme. There is no lockbox. Go to Hoystory.com and search for lockbox, and you'll see I've been chirping about this for 20 years. In fact, there is no lockbox. So give me a break. The enhanced subsidies became available to households with incomes exceeding 400% of the federal poverty line. I'm sorry. The couple had a modified adjusted gross income of about $123,000 in 2023, $136,000 in 2024. And it's going to be $2,000 a month, $2,400. So they're still bringing in over $100,000, and they can't live off it. Give me a break. Give me a break. Why early retirees face higher premiums? Saying the enhanced subsidy would cost $350 billion over 10 years. Then we do journalist math. Divide by 10. That's 35 billion a year over 10 years. That's you drop the zero. They cancel out. Yeah. I don't care. I don't. Bill Gall has what he calls old eyes. He's had more than 10 eye surgeries over the past decade and now blind in one eye. This is the sort of thing you should be planning for. I mean, if you're going to retire early, you need to. You can't count on the government always subsidizing you. You're making six figures. Make it stop. Make it stop. It's just. Ultimately, Bill says he expects Congress to extend the enhanced subsidies at the last minute. I hope he's wrong. I hope he's wrong. This is. Get a job at Walmart. Heck, I've considered it from time to time. Get a job at Walmart. I think Republicans should have a better plan for health care. They promised to repeal Obamacare, and they failed miserably. They couldn't come up with a plan, and it's one of those left-wing ratchets where they pass a law, and then the Republicans just can't undo it, despite how, frankly, this should be unpopular. I mean, if you had the media playing it straight on this, the fact that premiums and everything have skyrocketed under Obamacare, they would rip this thing to shreds. Think if healthcare was a military program or something like that. new airplane or something, they'd go absolutely ape if if it was growing at this rate. It's crazy. Switching to immigration. Saw this story at the Christian Post. I find it very interesting. Pastor set to self-deport after leading growth movement at Texas church. This is the type of guy I'd love to make a citizen. I'd love to have this guy as an American because his visa's expiring. He had an R1 visa for religious workers. He's going back to Brazil. Okay. One of his kids is a U.S. citizen, but he doesn't have, he's applied for a green card. They're all backed up. It's going to, his existing permit or whatnot doesn't allow him, or visa, are going to expire in November. But he's leaving. This is the way it should work. And I hope that he's down in Brazil for like a hot minute before they give him the visa that he needs to return and become a citizen. This is the respect for the law that people should have. And he is, hesitate to say he's one in a million, but this is the type of this is the way it should work. Unfortunately, it's the way it happens so seldom. But wow, I mean, somebody in the Trump administration ought to do something about this, because this is the kind of guy we want to keep here. Moving on. The Reason Foundation, Reason's libertarian magazine, has their Financial Transparency Project report out. And not much surprises here. State and local governments have $6.1 trillion in debt. This is not the national. The federal government's $37 trillion. State and locals at $6.1 trillion. California, being the largest state, has the highest per capita. But some other states has the highest total. California, being the largest state, has the highest total. The per capita ones, though, New York, $39,000 per person. Connecticut, 34, New Jersey, 33. States that aren't so bad in debt: Idaho, Indiana, South Dakota, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Utah. Good job. Good job to those states. But this is just a sign of the problem that we've got here. Scrolling down, pension debt, and here's the killer. Net pension debt, California, $268.69 billion. And Illinois is really close behind. Illinois' unfunded pension liabilities, $17,000 per resident. It's close to home. My wife's a teacher in California. She's got a pretty good pension, we believe. Here's hoping that they pay it out. Because, yeah, between one of my biggest worries is that we're on a financial cliff with a lot of this, with the federal government debt, state and local government debt, and we can't run these numbers forever. And it used to be the Republicans pretended to care and the Democrats didn't care, and now the Republicans have joined them in not caring about the debt, and they're there's going to be a reckoning. I hope I'm dead by then, because I'm probably not going to want to live through that. It's going to be ugly. And a lot of these public spending stuff, it's not going to be pretty. Yeah. Aggregate state and local other post-employment benefit debt by state. County municipal governments post-employment. So this is what was it? It was Eddie Money. It's a baseball player or something, and they're doing the same thing with Shohei Ohtani in LA, where they're paying him dimes today. They're paying him like a fraction of what he's going to get right now each year. It's a few $1 million or something, but they're going to pay him a ton in 10 years. That's the way the contract's set up. Great way to set up the contract, especially if you're playing in California, because you can leave California, and the state gets a little bit of the millions, but not the tens of millions. So it's ugly. We got a reckoning coming. Not sure when it will be coming, but it's things that can't continue on forever don't continue on forever. I want to thank you for tuning in or watching this. Hopefully, I'll get up some more technological things, and we'll get this hopefully spreading around the future. See you tomorrow.